What is that cable hanging there? That like I make it sound like I'm surprised there's any cables there. This isn't being used right now. The only thing that's being used right now, my friends, is go out of the way. Go away. Is a giant cup of tea. Woohoo! A big cup of tea. I'll confess, this is my second cup of tea. I am freaking exhausted today for some reason. I don't know what is up with me, but the last couple of days I've just been shattered. And I didn't. I did my yoga, my fancy yoga this morning. I'm taking my hearing aids out because they're driving me freaking crazy. And apparently these are like the fancy ones. Apparently I was talking to actually a very lovely couple, one of whom actually works with the development team, I believe, at this company that makes these hearing aids, and was letting me know about some of the troubles one has in designing them in the current environment. But yeah, so I did my burn and learn this morning. I did the yoga part of my burn and learn this morning, and then I had to go and get a COVID test. So I had to leap into a car, race off, and get a COVID test, and came back. Yeah, and I came back, and there was some kind of a giant crash on the what is it, the Don Valley Parkway or something. So it took forever to get home, but I had a really really nice chat with this guy who is a mathematician. He's now driving Uber because apparently when you come into Canada from another country, there are a lot of countries that they don't accept the graduation from a university. So in this case, it was Pakistan, and he had graduated with a PhD in mathematics. But apparently, I don't know. I guess Canadians do math differently. I'm not sure how that works exactly. I remember when my father first emigrated to Canada. He was a doctor, and he had to what is it called? I don't know, retrained. It's not retrained. It's called something like that. But anyways, yeah, I remember him taking like 4 years of having to go back in and be on call and all this kind of stuff again. But he did it. He did it. It looks like Daniel Jackson is likely to be in the new Stargate series. That's great, as he should be, because frankly, what is a Stargate series without Mr. Daniel Jackson? Reevaluate? Is that recertify? Yeah, it's something like that, isn't it? It has been a long day, I'd have to say. I'm definitely worn out today. Finally, you're online. Twitch is working again. I guess it was a Twitch glitch. Oh, is that what it was? You think it was a Twitch glitch? Hey, dude, how's you? I just had my first COVID jab. Aw, Matt, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of you. I wish they were sorted out here for that stuff. My dad, I think, my dad is a part of the 80 overs that they were supposed to have done ages ago. But apparently they've got the signups all sorted out, so he'll get a jab, I think, next week, which I'm very excited about. But then they're waiting for like 4 months or something until the next one. Oh my God, I've just done what I always do. As it turns out, I'm actually allergic to apples. I'm allergic to not even just apples. I'm allergic to the outer skin of apples. And I will often, but I still eat apples because I like apples. And apparently, if you eat them, doctors stay away from you. So, but what I do is I like them cut up. I don't like biting into them because then it makes my gums all feel weird because I'm allergic to them. So I cut them up. But the problem is if I cut them up and I forget to wash my hands, I then rub my face with them, like my eyes, like I've just done, especially after playing with the dog. And you will probably see giant frog-like eyes appearing on my face very soon. Hello, Dramatic Impulse. Hello, David, Sams. Hello, Dimitri. Soma Brooft. They are working on it, delayed due to COVID and other reasons, but we are getting there. Are we, Soma? I look for you. Hello, Ironham. It's my Ironham buddy. Apples, not lemons. Yeah. I'm actually weirdly allergic to apples. Yeah, I'm allergic to a lot of things actually, but not lemons for some reason. So, watching the Magic Bandits right now. Oh, fantastic! Oh, that's great. We had such a good time on that. That was just Randy the Magic Man. Go check him out, randythemagicman.com. Just absolutely wonderful, wonderful guy for doing that. My sister's allergic to apple skins too and has to peel them. Yeah, I mean, this is the funny thing is, so I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, it's not really showing very much, but my left eye, I've rubbed my left eye. I can tell because it's crazy itchy right now. Did Joe Flanagan ever threaten you with apples on the set of SGA? They did not. I don't think I really told it. I generally just ignore my allergies. Probably a stupid thing to do. But what's weird is I found that sometimes, yeah, sometimes they're worse than others. So nice afternoon live stream. I know, Planetary Wish, isn't it lovely? I am so, I'm so distracted today, though. I've got to say, I think I went to bed late last night. I was watching YouTube videos. I'm so bad. There's just so many interesting things on YouTube, and what was I learning about? I was learning about like Harrier jets and some biotech stuff. I mean, and it was like midnight was going by, and then finally I started watching some. What finally put me out was I was how to build a brilliant Magic the Gathering deck, and that was what finally put me out. No offense to the professor, but I was watching. I can't remember the guy's name, but it's what was it? I want to say Tolkien University, but it's not. But it's this fantastic Magic the Gathering guy, and he walks you through sort of the behind the scenes of how to build a Magic the Gathering deck. So I did that. What else? What exciting things have I done today? Right. Dog walks I'll have to do later because Jane did it this morning. And yeah, it looks like I'll do a tech talk tomorrow with my friend Barnacles and Auxiliary. And then Sunday I was hoping to do a Dungeons and Dragons on Sunday. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to because I have to do a read through. I'm doing a read through for Clarice, and it's the last 2 episodes, and it's directed by our showrunner, and she's just freaking amazing. So I'm very eager to be a part of that, and I'm going to talk to maybe James about what times he might be able to do it, and maybe we could do one a little earlier or something. But they are, they're a good like 2-hour session, and it's just great to see the script being read by these brilliant actors and stuff. And there's a part of me that doesn't want to see it because there's part of me that doesn't want to read it because I kind of want to just see the show and see what happens because I'm actually quite enjoying Clarice. But I obviously I won't. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do the read through. So, but it's what's fantastic is I'm in the last 2 episodes, or of this season by the sound of it. So I think it's the last 2 seasons. I don't know how it'll pan out, but anyways, but I've got 2 more episodes is the point, and I'm quite looking forward to doing the read through for that. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to slip in some Dungeons and Dragons as well, and then I film on Monday. Yeah, what am I saying? No, you know what? I don't think I'm going to be able to do it on Sunday. Because I also then film on Monday, and I'm like first up. So it's gonna be another one of those weeks that start really, really early. Oh God, I do love my work. You know what I need to do this? Okay, so we were watching what is it? Milky Charms. I think his name is Milky Charms, a Twitch streamer yesterday, who works with the quad stick controller. I'm not sure why he needs the quad stick controller, but obviously certain type of disabilities means that he's obviously not using his hands the way he needs for his gaming, but really proficient gamer, and using this mouth controlled sip and puff and mouth controlled joystick. And I said, oh man, that's because of course me being the assistive tech nerd, I say like, oh, what's the controller? He has a macro or something on the Twitch stream that if you type !controller, it automatically posts a couple of videos that he's done about the controller, because I get a lot of the same questions. No, I don't mind. I understand. Why would you know that I've heard these questions a lot? But usually is what's happening with the new Stargate? Why was Stargate canceled? Do I have any Stargate props, which I just saw pop up there? And again, I don't mind people asking, and I don't mind answering them numerous times. But I thought, just for the sake of people who might be joining us on a regular basis, it might get a little dull to hear me answer the same questions over and over again. So I thought what I should do is come up with some way of, I should do like a frequently asked questions, do like a video for the answer of each one of them, and then post them so that when these questions come up, I can go, oh, you know what? Here's one that you can go off and look at, and you get a good understanding of the answer, and I don't have to sort of like suddenly go off the rails and disappear down another squirrel trail as I tend to do while I'm doing that. I can never get bored of your voice. Aw, Brick Tech fan. So, David, why did you cancel Stargate? Was it to steal props? And I also have to have like a special button for banning Jim the Evo whenever he gets saucy with me on the chat there. Yes, exactly my problem. Why do they garnish salmon dishes with grapes? Oh my God, do they puzzler? Because that is absolutely wrong. How about running a Stargate quiz night? But then I'd have to answer quiz. But then I have to answer Stargate questions, and I never know the answers. Everyone always knows them better than I do. I'm very good, thank you, Mike. Very, very good. I guess I couldn't. How are you doing, Mike? I guess I couldn't do one for that, could I? Like, how are you doing? Here's a video. Here's a video. Oh my God, my back hurts, my hips, my legs. Yeah, that would be a fun one to do an automatic answer for. Um, wow, Randy the Magician, the Magic Man, Heart Magic Man. You own a trivia company? What do you not do, Randy the Magician? I know, Randy, you are a magician, but you're actually Randy the Magic Man. I know that, but all right, yes, SGA trivia. Those were the days. Yeah, I see. I suck at trivia. I suck at trivia at the best of times. I suck at trivia. I know. David, what do you think of Stargate Universe? See, now I got to answer. See, that's another one I should be answering. That I should have a set answer for. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. That was beautifully done. I think, yeah, and I've said this before. I think it just suffers from the fact that it had the name Stargate attached to it, and people were expecting a different type of Stargate. That would be my take on that. Howdy Hewlett and all. It's been a while. Megan Wolski, welcome back. I've been working on my house, but I try to check in. Hope everyone's doing well. Megan, what are you doing around the house? You doing like renovation stuff on the house? Because that I may be having to ask your advice on stuff then. By the way, that's one of my favorite movies. Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Tissia. Tissia, is that right? Yes, I actually, much to my wife's chagrin, shock, and horror, I did in fact brush my teeth with the same toothbrush that I had just brushed my mutts with. I am the Jotun guy from Twitch, still trying to get a job. Really? Everything failed so far, so still surviving. Thanks for asking. Mike, what kind of job are you looking for, Mike? Oh boy, Randy the Magic Man's already jumped on this trivia thing. We got some trivia coming by the end of it. Love to see your yoga updates. Ever thought of learning dance as well? Oh my God, Tango Voyage. Hey, Tango Voyage. I was gonna say, I actually, when Jane and I first met, one of the first presents I ever got her was like it was a date thing. We would go and learn tango together, and just laughed all the time. It was kind of wonderful. So, an interview with Katie and Rodney and Mrs. Miller went live on the Gate World channel recently. Oh, really? An interview with Katie about Rodney and Mrs. Miller. Oh, interesting. Had some water damage in our bedroom, so we opened the wall, repaired it, sheetrock, spackle, painted. Now we're doing carpet, so lots of work. Oh my God, yeah, and water damage is just freaking horrible. I have a funny story about my father and water damage. My father lives in a house that is probably over 100 years old now in Canada, which is something, and has a lot of old plumbing in it. In fact, he mentions with no real concern that apparently there was a lot of lead pipes. Yeah, a lot of lead pipes, and they wanted me to replace them all. They were trying to make us replace them. I was like, but Dad, maybe that's why I'm not so smart. But anyway, so he's had a number of plumbing issues with the house, and he had one particularly bad flood where I think I can't remember exactly what it was. Something had leaked, or something had a pipe had broken. Anyway, basically the entire front hall, the ceiling filled with water and then collapsed, and so he had the insurance company come in, and there were a lot of quotes and stuff. And he's like, I got this sorted. He goes, you don't need drywall. You just take wallpaper. He took wallpaper and he covered up all the holes with wallpaper and painted it white, or painted it the same color as the ceiling. He's like, you wouldn't know. It looks just like drywall. I was like, yeah, but it's not drywall, Dad. And how long did you leave it to dry? Like, so I'm sure it's going to be like a giant black. There's probably like an entire like forest of black mold in there that I can only imagine. I found the voice acting in yesterday's Bandits very interesting. You do some good voices too, David. Thank you, but you are in fact being too kind, Andreanne. maybe, I mean, I keep saying this. I need to do an acting bandits. I really need to do an acting bandits because 14 fish tanks in the upstairs bedroom. Lost count of the times I flooded the place over 5 years. Oh my God, Kenny Ken, you cannot be popular in that house. The Magic Man. That's the dream. The dream life for I don't doesn't get like having a boss. Doesn't recognize my talents. Well, really, um, I'm allergic to aspartame. It makes me be on the toilet. Well, I don't even, we do not, too much information, Joshua. David, from Johnny Wednesday. David, has Clarice given you some inspiration to explore some more writing at all? Huh. That's interesting. Huh. Not really Clarice specifically, but I've definitely been thinking of some writing. But I've got to say, none of it's been of the script form, if that makes sense. There's a couple of things I'd like to get out of my head. I'd like to take some of the, I guess, some of the tech bandit stuff that I've learned and maybe put that in a format that might be useful to people in a kind of a workshop kind of a way, or the workshop in a kind of a workbook way. I think that'd be kind of fun. I would love to have like, I would like to start doing like, like a yearly annual, like a Tech Bandits annual. And it just has a bunch of cool things that have happened in science and technology every year, and a little blurb about how it related to science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, and inspiring the next generation type stuff. So because I used to love annuals. I used to have the Doctor Who annuals, and I had I think there was a Knight Rider one. Was maybe a Knight Rider one? No, maybe not. There was certainly a $6 Million Man one. Lots of that stuff. Not Red Hill. Why not Red Hill? Do you keep up with any of the cast or message? Another question I get a lot. It's, you know what? I'm beginning to get some repeated questions now. Only really on social media, Drew. Book by you. Wow. Good Lord. That's like, I can't tell how many zeros that is because my glasses aren't letting me focus. But I'm saying it looks like almost 1,000,000% buy. And a signed copy. There you go. Oh, here's the other thing I thought of. Okay, get this. So the other day, I was talking about this little coin thing that no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. So this little coin thing. So this is a coin that my friend John Raymonds gave me, and it's like I don't know, like kind of like a friendship coin, or just a kind of a neat thing that he has that he gives people, who I guess have some kind of a meaning in his life. And I was so touched by this. I just thought it was also incredibly cool, like a nice sort of real solid coin. I was using it yesterday for Randy the Magic Man's tricks about learning how to palm coins and things. I suddenly went, wait a second, you know what? I want to make these. I want to make the same thing. I want to make a Tech Bandits coin like this. And then what I'd like to do is be able to, using perhaps some kind of a CNC machine, maybe the little CNC that I've got would have fine enough control to do this. I would like to etch some kind of a number around the outside of these coins to identify them as a limited edition, and also to tie them to a non-fungible token. Because I just think that'd be really cool, the idea of like the speculative element of it from a kid standpoint. So you'd have like literally a Tech Bandits coin that was actually kind of a coin, if that makes sense. So it would be like sort of a digital signature for each one of these coins that you get. And I thought it would be a great way to raise some money for Tech Bandits. You have things that, have like, merch stuff that people might actually like. Get Jack Jasper to help me out with one of his fabulous designs that maybe incorporates a little bit of a subtle Stargate into the. I mean, it is a circle, right? So maybe just something around the edge, something like that. Anyways, but the idea is having each one of them being a unique coin in and of itself. So you'd get like a bunch of them printed out, because I think that would be the cheapest way to do it. And then I would use the CNC to etch maybe numbers or something on it. I'm not sure exactly the logistics of this stuff, but I just really like that idea. Also, I just like the idea of having my own coins. I don't know why. It makes me feel like a pirate somehow. It's a bandit coin, exactly like a bandit coin. Oh my God, yes, they do. It's what is this? What is this? Okay. Question today: why do we measure success in life? I work with NFT on Ethereum or in BNB. Do you really, at the Imperator? Oh, wow. So you're doing non-fungible tokens on Ethereum. Wow. Oh, that's cool. Well, so maybe I'll have to pick your brain about that. Um, I think it's fairly simple with Ethereum, is it not? To create a non-fungible token. So basically, these are these things like you probably in the news recently. You've seen a bunch of stuff about like oh man sell or person sells JPEG image for $69 million. Very interesting backstory to that. That apparently the artist himself, them, I don't know if it's a male or female, so I should just say they. The artist themselves was a part of the bidding process. So he owns or they own a part of that $69 million purchase, as well as a bunch of crypto million or billionaires, whatever they are, who have invested in this thing. And they're now selling portions of that that image to other people as I guess some kind of a some kind of a speculative thing as well. So so not entirely organic in its appeal. I think there's definitely been a bit of marketing and a sleight of hand going on here. So I'm very wary of this whole a little bit. I'm a little bit wary of this whole crypto thing. It does seem a bit odd. Um, but yes, what was the point of that? That we were talking about non-fungible tokens. We're talking about because Imperador does that stuff, and Imperador also asked the question about um, how do we measure success in life? Was that right? Was that the? Oh, I can't use a mouse. I don't have a mouse. I'm on a phone. I'm down here with all my computers, and I can't use my mouse. So the question would be, um, why or why do we and how can we measure success in life? This is an interesting question because I think I've spoken about this concern that I have about this from a corporate standpoint as well, where it's the value of a company is and has always been measured on its basically profitability, like how well it does for its investors, whether those be private investors or whether those be actual like stocks and stocks type stuff, like ownership in the company. And I really feel like that's kind of a blinkered approach to success, right? And if like for example, if you made a ton of money in oil and gas, but at the expense of what parts of nature, at the expense of the health, at the expense of the planet, at the expense of I mean, the potential lives ruined by global warming or pollution or whatever. I mean, not to pick on oil, but I'm going to pick on oil. Or cigarettes. I mean, like, let's say you're working for a cigarette company and you make lots of money with the cigarette company. The cigarette company make lots of money, but it's still contributing to a massive amounts of death and illness and basic human discomfort, shall we say, discomfort and loss. So how do we somehow like I keep this is a word I can never get right. Quantify. How do we quantify those kind of effects on the world? How can we measure success based on not just the value, the financial value of what your company or yourself has done, but also on the effect you've had on the world and on people's lives? Because of your product, are people's lives improved? How many people's lives are improved? How many people's lives are improved compared to people whose lives are not improved? How are your employees? What is your employees' happiness like? What's your happiness like? I feel like there's so many different ways of measuring those kind of successes that I don't think we've really considered because just things like like gross national product, the idea that we're measuring a country on the basis of how much how many things it can buy and sell. Basically, we should be also measuring the quality of life with those things. And there was an amazing talk about this that I got to find and post it because it was a speaker that I heard at the AI Big Data conference, and then I went on and interviewed his son about music and a little bit about game design as well, but mainly about his exploration of music. Nathaniel, that's on a previous Tech Bandit somewhere. But so I think how would I measure success in my life? I think it would have to be It would have to be about, for me, the influence I've had over people in my life. I mean, how many people hate my guts? How many people how many people like me? No, I wouldn't. I honestly, I feel like I feel like one of the things I've learned sort of more later in life is that you're just not going to make everybody happy. People are gonna take things the wrong way. People are gonna assume the worst of you when that is not that was never your intention, or whenever. I mean, I think there's a million reasons why people will not like you. If you do anything in this world, there are going to be people who have some negative things to say about it or feel about it. And I think often it just says more about the person than it does the person that they're talking about. So I often find people accuse you of things that they're thinking of themselves. I mean, certainly in my interactions with people, I find that I often, if I don't trust something about someone, it's often because I go like, well, that's something I've thought of, so why wouldn't they have thought of it? Whether I do it or not is another thing, but at least having those sort of thoughts. So I guess it's going to be, it's going to be about what is at the end of the day, when I'm done and dusted, what are people going to say about what I've done, about, what's my son going to think? What's my, the surrounding family and friends gonna have to say about me, and enemies for that matter. I mean, people who didn't like me, I'd be curious to know what they have to say about it. But also, I do think that to some extent, my father has always said that, people tell you how much they like you by paying you for what you do. So I feel like, in a way, from a success standpoint, from a work standpoint, I've always loved acting, and I'm now paid to act. And I think it from a career standpoint, I feel like I'm completely satiated on that. Like, I feel like I've got to play these amazing roles. I continue to get amazing roles. I continue to get to work with extraordinary actors, and interact with different people every day. I feel like, from a career standpoint, I feel absolutely successful. As a dad, I think it's every day. It's a different thing every day. I mean, some days you feel like the best dad on the planet, and then many other days you feel like the worst. And some days you don't think about it, then you feel guilty about that. The reality about parenting is it's just managing fear and guilt is all you're really doing as a parent, I think. So, what about legacies too, such as, random example, writing a book? We're back to writing again. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, again, depending on what those books are and what those books contribute, right? I mean, this is the thing: is I realize that so much of my life has been pursuing the industry, like trying to figure out how it works in the film industry, how it works in the TV industry, how to be successful in that regard. And I found myself, as I got to different levels, you can always go higher with these things. You can always do better, and you can always do worse. But as I sort of found myself at different sort of peaks and valleys along the way, I realized it really just comes down to that day at work. It just comes down to arriving on set and feeling good about it, and feeling like you can contribute, both as an actor and as a human being. And like, I realized that I mean, if I've got enough money to pay the bills and feed the kid, and give him an education and a few video games and a cup of coffee now and again, maybe a breakfast, I feel like that, I guess my value of success, my way of looking at success has changed considerably over the years. I got into acting because I wanted to be famous. Absolutely. All the wrong reasons for getting into it. But because of the way I am, in order to get famous, I had to learn everything I could about acting and about filmmaking and about television. And so I did so much research about that stuff. And then every part that I got tended to lead me down a different rabbit hole of things to learn. And you suddenly realize it's not the fame you want. It's that momentum, it's that drive to learn that was really the most sort of satisfying thing for me. And so one of the big things with the Tech Bandits is to try to talk to the kids at around the age I was when I discovered that acting was what I wanted to be when I grew up, because I felt that the fact that I knew what I wanted to do with no question in my mind that that's what I wanted to do, and that I was willing to do it whether I was going to suck at it or whether I was going to make $1 billion or whether I was going to make $100. I didn't care. I just, that's what I wanted to do. And that is such an amazing thing to go into life with. I always felt really sorry for people who were like at university struggling to figure out what they wanted to be when they grew up, type thing. I mean, I've always struggled with what I want to be when I grow up. I've always struggled with what I keep, everything. I find so many things interesting. I want to be everything. We were talking about the hearing aids a little while back. I mean, this guy's recommended a book for me to read about hearing aids, and he's like, well, maybe you don't want to go, maybe you're not like a hearing aid geek. I'm like, I am now. I'm a hearing aid geek now. Whether I'll get through the whole book, I don't know, but I'm going to look at it. So yeah, I feel like another part of success for me will be what I've learned, and what I'm able to tell other people about or explain to other people. Oh my God, I'm going to be a professional mansplainer. That's going to be my job. No, but I just think being able to have conversations with people about the things that they are interested in and having some understanding of it's really important too. So yeah, there's so many different sort of angles on that question of success. I mean, what do you think? What do other people think about from a success standpoint? What counts as success in their minds? Not for me, but for them. You know what I mean? David, you saying make money to live, don't live to make money? Because if so, I very much agree. Don't live to make money. Yeah, I mean, I love money. I love money as much as investment because it buys me Magic the Gathering cards. It buys me robots. I absolutely love money, and I'm terrible at spending it. But at the same time, because I don't, I don't act for money. I get money. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, wow, occlusion specialist. Thank you very much. Giant heart and 19 sex. Which just sounds wrong, doesn't it? Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. That will go towards obviously the tech bandits' coffers. Yeah, I like the acting more than I like getting paid for it, if that makes sense. But I also know I have to get paid for it, and there are some jobs that are better for jobs and some that are better for art. Right? Was it Michael Caine said it's either art, location, or money. So either it has art, or it has location, or it has money. If it has more than two of those, then fantastic. So it's usually one or the other. That's generally that's the way it works. Okay, who else has got doing something that makes you happy and that makes you money? Yeah, there you go. Doing something that makes you happy, that makes you the money you need. Exactly. That is success. That's a beautiful way of putting success. Success is subjected to every single person's own perspective. Exactly. Yeah. I think success to me is becoming very self-aware and being comfortable with yourself. That's an interesting point, Mike Brown. I definitely think that I was a very, very unhappy, angry, confused, young to middle-aged man for a long time because I was constantly fighting who I was. I didn't want to be a geek. You know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds weird now because I'm obviously not fighting it at all anymore, but I really wanted to be cool. Like I wanted to be James Dean. I wanted to be Marlon Brando. I mean, young Marlon Brando, not so much the giant fat one. But not because of the fat so much as just because he just got really weird in my mind. Anyways, but like there were just so many of these brilliant actors. I wanted to be Doctor Who. There's so many things that other people that I wanted to be. And I think Doctor Who's probably not a good example because he was pretty geeky. But I really wanted to be sort of sexy cool, if that makes sense. And I think as a sort of a young man growing up in the film industry, that is, you're just on edge all the time, right? Because you're trying to be mysterious, but you're really just being sort of like what I say, you're not mysterious, you're a muddy puddle. And I think I spent a long time doing that with motorcycles and leather jackets and cigarettes and sunglasses and, all that silliness. And then I suddenly realized at one point, when I became what the heck was that? Oh my gosh, occlusion specialist. Thank you very, very much. I don't know what that means exactly because I have no idea what 1,000 or even one of those sects things are. But I thank you very much for 1,000 of them. That is extraordinary. Thank you. Um, uh, I wanted to be Rodney and then Todd. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wanted to be a Time Lord, so that becomes very difficult as a kid. But again, I embraced that to a point, and then I got to an age where I just wanted to be. I wanted to be cool. I wanted to be Duran Duran. I wanted to be Billy Idol. I wanted to. I mean, all these cheesy things that I wanted to. I wanted to be. I wanted to be. I wanted to be a fabulous disaster. I wanted to drink too much and say witty things, and people to worry about me because they just didn't know how dark my thoughts were. And the reality is, they weren't dark. They were happy thoughts. I mean, the reality was that if I just sat back and relaxed and became myself, I'd be a much happier person. So basically, I traded in a motorcycle for a Toyota Echo. Was it an Echo? No, it was a Toyota Corolla, I guess. Like, was that right? It was like a little Toyota that had a hole in the gas tank, so you had to keep filling it up because it kept dripping gas out of it. I put gum over it every so often to stop it from leaking anymore. But it had this little moonroof you could slide back, and I would drive to and from my IT job. I decided to quit acting and become an IT guy, and I worked for about 2 years doing that, commuting back and forth for like $9 an hour, earning nothing but learning everything and learning everything about business and about people and about different people's perspectives on things, both positive and negative, the crazy weirdness of the corporate world, and amazing amounts of information about computers and programming and networking and all sorts of. Oh God, I just loved it. I freaking loved it. But then, then the ADHD kicks in again, and you go, oh my God, I got to do something. I want to do something different now. And of course, that's where acting comes in. I mean, acting is so amazing at satisfying the ADHD brain because you get to be a different person basically every day. I mean, even if you're playing the same character, you still have different storylines and different things to explore on a different basis. But yeah, that's a good way of putting it, Lucretia. Knowledge is success. Yeah, I think that's very good. That's so funny, Dramatic Impulse. I can't do theater anymore. I get way, way too anxious. Really too anxious. All right, what are we going? What do we got here? It's funny how Kate Hewlett ended up on SGA. Good job, D. Hewlett. Good help for her and great interactions with you, her, and Amanda. Yeah, I mean, I didn't do much, honestly, on that front. I mean, other than changing the line about having a brother that I didn't get along with to changing it to a sister I didn't get along with, just in the hopes that maybe Kate might get involved. But it was Martin Garrow saw her in a play and went, my gosh, this woman sounds exactly like McKay. We got to get her. And it turns out we were related. Everyone has it almost, in my opinion, there's a little geek in everyone. Yeah, Flink, I say that all the time, actually. I mean, everyone geeks out about something. Everyone is a geek about something. And if you can find that, it's a fantastic jumping off point for friendships and connections. And I don't mean that in a sort of Machiavellian way. I mean, like, truly being interested in something that someone else is interested in. And the other thing is about people get excited about what excites them, and they open up in a way that they don't otherwise. If they're guarded about stuff. There's some people who don't want to discuss things. That's fine. So great. But when people do want to talk about the stuff that they're interested in, I'm usually quite interested because it's usually stuff I don't know about. So. Is it time to talk about the grandma coffee mug? What are you saying? What are you saying, Adam Kelly? It's actually a teacup. It's a fine. What is it made? It's like, you're right. It is such a grandma tea. Oh God, I'm embarrassed. I need to get new mugs. I don't have a lot of really big mugs, and I like really big mugs. So thank you for See, now you're embarrassing me. I'm not the cool leather jacketed guy I wanted to be. I'm a grandma with a cherry cup. Oh my God, Robert Smart. Wow. Robert Smart, thank you so much. I wasn't in it though. I wasn't in it, just to be very clear. Oh, in IT. Oh, right. Sorry. Yes, I didn't say I was good at IT, but I was definitely in it. I used to build these 486 based. They were like what was it called, like a backboard, like a backplane or something, like what do you call it? Like it's like basically like a motherboard that motherboards plug into, and you used to have to snap in these 486 processing cards, and it was a packet network, and it ran off QNX, which I was fascinated with. It's like a I think it's from the people who did research in motion, and it's a pared down Unix that runs on. It's basically for embedded systems, but this little kernel program was used to run the voicemail company, these voicemail servers that we had, and the voicemail servers worked exactly like the internet. They split everything up into little packets, sent them off sort of cheaply and effectively. And it was actually used for a multi-level marketing company that would send these sort of like raw messages to each other. And I had a lot of fun doing that, and met some amazing people doing it. So, oh my God, I loved you in Pin. God, Pin. Wow, that's a long time ago. I really, for a while, I was someone owned Pin, the rights to Pin or something, and got in touch with me and said, "Hey, there's this movie. Do you want to do it?" And I was like, "Yeah." Basically, yeah. There was a script that needed a bit of work, but it was a script. I always thought it'd be really fun to do Pin. I wrote a like a little pitch for Pin that what if we jumped into Pin, now, like let's say Leon had aged as much as I had, and he'd been in the in the mental institute for all those years, and was finally released into the wild, and just how you could sort of explore how these unhealthy thoughts would return to him, type thing. But and also just sort of like the idea of also addressing the mental health issues there. I think it would be really fun to see him become the victim in a way, because he would be obviously known as this, as this killer or attempted killer. No, actually, he did manage to kill a couple people, didn't he? Yeah, I just think it'd be kind of fun to sort of see like the old man Pin in a way, if that makes sense. But and I had some ideas on that, including some fun little twists. But yeah, that would be a fun one. I loved Pin. Pin was fantastic. It was my first real movie. Pin. Pin was the first like lead role I had. I filmed it in Montreal. It was just fabulous. Hey, David, can I ask if you'll be making any other movies like Nothing or the one about your dog? I enjoyed the one where you were in the tree with the bully. Yeah, that was Treed Murray's fantastic film, and is a classic to me. It really is, isn't it? 2013, John. Thank you. My wife is making a movie now. My wife is producing a movie now. I don't think I'm going to be in it. It's Kate's script, and it's just, it's gorgeous. Wonderful thing, but it's definitely a larger budget than stuff we've done before. I'm kind of disillusioned with the film industry, honestly. I don't like the process of writing stuff, and I thought if you wrote and directed it, you'd have total control, and of course you don't. The only people who have total control are the people who are paying the bills, or the people who've been given the money to pay the bills. So I just found that you give up so much control to make a film if a film is going to cost you more than a few, I would say if unless you're putting in all the money yourself, you don't have total control over the movie. And one of the things that I loved about Dog's Breakfast was that I had complete control over that, because it was all my money. I felt very strongly about it. Jane and I talked about this, and we decided that we were going to spend our own money, because I didn't know if it was going to work or not. And I didn't want to waste anyone's money if it didn't. And I just thought it would be like sort of a boot camp for learning how to direct. But so I loved that, and I would do that again. I would definitely do that again if I could afford to make my own movie with my own budget, and not have to answer to other people for it. I would be very, very happy to do that. I stand behind Dog's Breakfast completely. There are other movies I've made that I have nothing nice to say about, because I just felt like, I was trying to solve problems and other people were creating them, and there's just so much waste and frankly stupidity in this industry it's an art, not a science, and that frustrates me immensely. And I feel like there's also just a lot of lightning in a bottle. I feel like there are films that do well and no one knows why, but everyone will tell you they do. There are people who want to make movies who will tell you this is how you make movies. They don't know. They don't know. It never works the same way twice. There is no way to, if anyone knew how to make successful movies, they would be making them all the time. And the only way people have figured out how to make successful movies is to throw ridiculous amounts of money at them in the form of, budgets and marketing and movie stars and just blanketing people's brains with materials about it. It's the only way that people make money on these things. Whereas there are these little movies that people make that will suddenly take off, and no one knows why. And you hear all those stories about how, we got turned down by everybody, and it's because nobody knows. So anyways, so I find myself quite disillusioned by it. I'm the worst person for Jane to talk to because she's actually trying to make a movie, and I'm like, movies, forget it. It's all YouTube and Twitch for me. I find this far more fascinating, because it's just a conversation, which I can't normally have. Film and television puts a distance between us, and this doesn't. It still does to some extent, and obviously I'm somewhat more in control of this stuff, so I get to say and do what I want. But I think that's a big part of it for me. I think I've always had an issue with authority, anyways. I don't like being told how or what to do. Even to the point of shooting myself in the foot. I feel like the film industry is just so full of people who think they know what they're talking about, or maybe they don't, maybe they do. But I've not seen it. I've never seen a guarantee in any of these things. You know what I mean? Guillermo made Shape of Water, and maybe he thought it was going to be a huge success, but more than likely, he just wanted to make that movie. It's not even that he wanted to make that movie. He would talk about, he would die if he didn't make that movie, and I feel like success there's no bearing on that for him. It's not about success. It's about him making the movies he feels he's here to make. So yeah, that was a big life-changing moment as well, actually. The first one was moving from a motorcycle in my leather pants to no, that's it. It was a Toyota Tercel. That was it. It was a white Toyota Tercel, and I drove it, and then the engine grenaded because nobody told me you had to change the oil. Driving down the highway, I'm like, did I hit a bird? It sounds like it's this. I'm like, weird. I must have hit a seagull and it's stuck in the. I literally, this is what I'm thinking. And then I get it to the garage, and they open it up, and they're like laughing. They're like, you see what those are? I was like, no, what are those? He said, well, they're the pistons. And I was like, oh, well, can I get a couple more new ones then? They're like, no, they're on the outside of the engine. They're supposed to be on the inside of the engine. So I did not have a lot of interest, to be fair, in the inner workings of a car. Oh, hey there, Lord Frieza. Would you like, did we surprise you? Canadians are so positive. No, we're not. Del Toro used to be a master of filmmaking. He knows the genre he writes and directs for. Yeah, Fox Girl. Guillermo is, I refer to him as like the Gandalf of Hollywood. He's like this magical, childlike being that comes up with these beautiful ideas and has just, he's almost like a cult leader. Once you've worked with Guillermo del Toro, you don't want to, you don't want to let that go. You want, he says jump, you go how high, and where do you want me to stay, and can I get you a coffee with that? Good night and good morning, everyone. Una bella. Well, he is a bull. That's true. Toro does mean in fact bull. Oh my gosh, Niblung, I literally just answered that question about SGU. That's so funny. Okay, so you have to rewind and have a look. Yeah, I was watching YouTube when I noticed that you were broadcasting. Oh, there you go. So it was a complete surprise out of nowhere. I finally saw Shape of Water. Loved the story, but the porn scene was unnecessary. There was a porn scene? I remember a porn scene. Live streaming may one day replace the standard movie studio format. Critical Role is a good example of that. Yeah, Critical Role was fascinating. But Critical Role also, I think, there's something to said about this, where I think that Hollywood has mistaken things like Critical Role for, oh, you go on the internet, it's a great place to develop things. Things are developed, things get an audience, and then they go into the big time, and they go to movies. And I don't think that's true. I think I think Critical Role is brilliant. First off, I just absolutely wonderful, fantastic collection of like characters and Dungeons and Dragons and wonderful geeky nerdery. I love it, but at the same time, I love it in that format. I think that making a movie of it, an animated thing, will be fantastic. That's great. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. But I think that the idea that we are still at a time in entertainment where people are doing this in order to get on television is very, very mistaken. I would not, look, I recommend to everybody who wants to get into acting that they should have a YouTube channel and they should be doing stuff. But I think the idea of, you don't want to be creating content on YouTube every day purely in the hopes of having a TV show that you can make content for the internet every day. I mean, because as soon as that happens, as soon as the budgets go up, everyone thinks like, oh, I'm going to get paid more money. It's going to be amazing. And yeah, there's more money. There's definitely more money. I make ridiculous amounts of money when I act. But at the same time, I'm acting for other people. I'm working with other people's lines. I'm at their beck and call and stuff. And for the most part, I'm totally fine with that. I love it. But when it comes to my own stuff, when it comes to like how to talk to people, my community, like the people, my fellow nerds, you know what I mean? I don't want a TV show for that. Because then it's someone else, it's someone else's idea on how this works. And I feel kind of guilty recently because I've been asked a lot to do podcasts and stuff lately. Like a lot of people ask me to do podcasts. But here's the thing. I'm doing my podcast on my podcast. I'm doing a Tech Talk podcast on DIY in the Ghetto. Thank you very much. David should do a lower deck Star Trek version of SGA. I would so pay to see that. A lower deck Star Trek version of SGA. What is lower deck? Like an animated thing. That would be fun, actually, wouldn't it? But here's the problem again. Stargate. I don't own Stargate, right? I don't have any. I don't own McKay. I do videos on YouTube myself, not acting, but it is a nice thing to do in free time. Yeah, some approved. It's like, this is the thing, is the whole thing of YouTube to me, and oh my God, Randy the Magic Man, what are you doing? Show us a trick. First off, it's too freaking cold down here. I keep dropping the coin. I rated Jane's hair bands, so that was so I've got those to practice with now as well. I promise I'll practice Magic Man. I'll promise. Everyone, by the way, randythemagicman.com, go check him out, or randythemagicman /Zoom, and you can actually talk to him about tricks and stuff. So if he teaches you anything, let me know. Well, you can show it off to me. Oh, the silence. I see. Well, Andrienne, I mean, this is the funny thing is about sex scenes in movies and stuff, is that some people get freaked out by that, other people don't. I find it weird that we're, as a culture, more freaked out by the sex scenes than we are about the horrific violent scenes. You know what I mean? The fact that people are worried about the sex scene in Shape of Water, but not worried about the fact that people are, people's, hands are shot off and there's horrible grisly murders and stuff. I mean, that is kind of, DIY in the Ghetto. Thank you again. That is very, very kind of you. I just think our belief system, it's not the belief system, our concerns about this stuff are completely off base. We have been desensitized to the violent side of stuff, and we have been, because of silly, I guess, Judeo-Christian beliefs about sex, that for some reason that's not something we should be looking at. The reality is people have sex. I hate to say this, but, if anyone's shocked by this, people have sex. I've got a son to prove it. But the reality is, like, why I don't understand why that's supposed to be shameful in any way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? And I'm not picking on you for not liking it. I understand this is a way that I grew up with this, and I now that I have a child, I now have to. I find myself struggling with it because I go like, this kid will watch people get shot and die without blinking an eye, but God forbid someone shows their breasts or someone has sex or makes out with someone. Uh, what is that telling people? Like, I mean, talk about a societal. We have a, we may be, as a society, I think our priorities are completely off on that stuff. Who the heck just gave me real British pounds? Make the Orville of Stargate, like Orville was a parody of Star Trek, and become serious sci-fi on its own. Yeah, I love the way that's happened, Michael or Mikkel. I wrote a pilot called Starcrossed years and years ago, and Sci-Fi hummed and hawed about it for like 4 years, and then basically said, "Why don't you make a web series out of it for $5?" And I was like, "Well, we could have done that 4 years ago, couldn't we? And I could have paid the $5." Anyways, so that was a disaster. But I have the script. I should find the script for you. You guys could. I don't know that I would get in trouble if you read it. But the idea was basically to do a behind the scenes of, not of Stargate so much but the idea, like some of the silly tropes that go along with science fiction, and just somehow sort of tie them into my own love of science fiction. So I'll have to dig up the script. The script's probably awful actually now. That's probably the reason why they didn't make it. But I remember quite liking it. Reed Bauman, he talks about that, the violence and stuff. Yeah, that's true. So nipples on the screen is a sin, but a 14-year-old committing murder in a video game is okay. We as humans are backward at times. At times, Gib. I think we're always there. It's so funny. So everyone says the Orville is amazing. I've got to watch the Orville. I started watching like the first episode and I was like, what is this? So Stargate is a parody. Yeah, it's true. We parody ourselves quite well. I did another one. What is the other one? Another one called Starshippers, which was very silly. Very silly. The premise was basically that that Canada spent all of its money on this fancy spaceship that was gonna basically their enterprise, and so in typical Canadian fashion, we want to be fair, so we invite YouTubers from all over. Everyone sends in a video, and so YouTubers from all of across Canada to represent Canada are selected to come and basically do like a press junket on this spaceship orbiting Earth, and of course, it being Canada, we're incredibly very careful to politically correct, pick all the right people, and there's this Canadroid that would have been played by me, which was just this government programmed computer that was, obviously sarcastic and incredibly unhelpful. So basically, I'd love to help you, but I can't. So it's basically can't bot. And then of course, in a freak accident on Canada Day, someone presses the wrong button and we all get hurled into the far corners of the universe, where we then become the ambassadors for Earth. All of these ridiculously dysfunctional YouTube famous Canadians. So that was basically the idea. I talked to there's the people who did Murdoch Mysteries. I talked to them for a while about it. But again, everyone wanted to do these web series. Everyone wanted to do like a web series version of it. And I was always like, well, I can do a web series version of it. If that's what I want to do. But the whole point of it is, I don't believe it works as a web series. That is a television series. That needs to be a television series. I can't do a good version of that. I don't have the money or the time, resources to do that kind of stuff. And so why would I try to do the same? Why would I try to go through all of that same struggle to make it and then have it owned by someone else? So to me, it was like, look, it's a TV series or nothing, so it turned out to be nothing. But there's a lot of different approaches to getting stuff made out there, and I've just found that in some ways I would rather be talking about these things. I'd rather be discussing the potential of like what's a great way of doing comedy in sci-fi than I would actually making it at this point. Maybe that'll change later. I reserve the right to completely change my mind. I often change my mind by the end of a sentence. So, there's that. Wednesday, I would try to imagine, and then again, if I did, I would. What's this? Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Oh, fantastic! I was so inspired by Douglas Adams. Douglas Adams is freaking brilliant. As one of the first video games I bought for the Commodore 64 was a text-based adventure of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. God, it took me forever to realize I needed aspirin to get over that hangover. The character has a really bad hangover at the beginning of the game. Sounds like the Alan Rickman version of the robot he did in Guide to the Universe. Ooh. Yes, very much. It was a very Alan Rickman inspired type of character. It was sort of like Alan Rickman meets Data. It would be sort of an unlikable Data, basically. Oh my God, can you imagine David starring with Picardo? That would be amazing. Yeah, that would be fun, wouldn't it? Yes, everyone said that the first few episodes of the Orville struggled, and then once they'd sort of like let it go, they could enjoy it more. Now, what was that? Okay, Hannah Gunson, thank you so much. Normal is gone. Time before and after pandemic. What is your new normal in acting? My new normal in acting. A lot of testing, a lot of protective gear and stuff. It's too bad because it really changes the dynamic on set. One of the things I loved about being on set was all these people. There's so many different people to talk to about different things and stuff. There's not a lot. You can't really sit around and talk the way you used to. Clarice is pretty good for that, actually. Clarice, we have there's a cast tent, so I can go in and we're all sitting in the same space, and we've got little shields on and stuff. So. And we're doing scenes together without shields, so it doesn't matter if we're not wearing them at times. But we have our own little tented and whatever it's called, negative pressured or whatever the hell they do. I don't know what they're doing, but they probably just tell us it's terribly safe. But again, I'm only in a day here and a day there, so it's always more about sort of like getting to know people again, or getting comfortable with people again, and then by the end of the day, you're gone and you're back 3 weeks later or whatever. So my new normal is not quite as much chatting. A lot of sitting at home alone in a trailer eating your lunch by yourself, which to be fair, I like to do anyways. I have a weird thing about I don't like people for some reason unless I am making a fool of myself on purpose. I don't generally like eating in front of people. It's something I just don't, It was funny at a convention once. They would ask me about attending these dinners, and I like, it's my idea of a nightmare. I'm happy to sit around and talk, no problems there, but to actually have to eat with people, I'd be like, no, I can't do that. Like, it's some kind of weird foible phobia of mine that I don't like eating in front of people. It's not. Yeah, I don't know why. I can't explain it. I'm sure Freud would have a field day with it, but that's basically where I'm on that. Tammy, how are you, Tammy? Tammy is nearing the end of some serious schooling, and I'm very, very proud of her, I've got to say. We should all be very proud of her. Loving your live streams. Oh, Chuck Baker, thank you very much. Look, I just want to say, obviously, you don't have to give me money, but I thank you very, very much. And just so you know, you are not giving me, well, you are giving me money because, frankly, it's money that will go towards the Tech Bandits, but I get to choose what it goes on. And sometimes it goes on questionable things like Lego. Hey, do you want to open a Lego? Do you want to open a Lego now? I've been opening Legos and with the Tech Bandits. And the idea is that I open, it's my way of explaining to them about speculation. And it's also my reason for telling my wife that's why I need to buy these things. So I bought a bunch of Lego figures in the little plastic bags, and then I open them, and then I'm going to track what they're worth and see if they go up or down in value. And the idea is to show kids that it doesn't matter what it is. If you think it's got value and other people agree with you, it has value. It is a speculative thing, but it is also always a gamble. So open Lego. Okay, done. All right, I'm opening Lego. Let me get it. All right, here we go. I'm opening Lego. Here we go. I think I still have the scissors out from the last time I did this. Yes, I do. All right. Okay. Dun. Oh, no. Wrong one. Right here. I keep forgetting I'm not on this camera anymore. Okay, so there you go. Lego figure. These little guys right here.
Hello, grandson Iggy, age 6. Hello from grandson Iggy, age 6. Oh, awesome. Hello, Iggy. Iggy, so Iggy, call us in 4 years' time. You come do some Tech Bandits with us. All right, here we go. This one's going out to Iggy. What we got? You opening it up? Oh yeah. See, when I do it on the stream, I have like a microphone, and also you can actually hear it. It's like it comes sort of ASMR like. And now I don't get to look first. You get to look first because you're here. Okay, so there you go. So what do you see in there? Anything? Oh, hard to say. Hard to say. Oops, I can't tell. Do I have this one? I don't know. What the heck? Oh, no way. It's like the little, okay, let's see if I can do this. Can I? Let's see. So it looks like I've got the guy in the dog suit. It's a huzzah suit. Here we go. Let me see. Huzzah suit. It sounds like a bit like a sneeze. Okay, so if I can go down like this so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, can I have some of my granny tea first? Delicious. Okay, so, all right. So we've got the little dog feet. Hello, little dog feet. They go on here. We've got little dog body. Well, not dog body, but I suppose dog costume body. That goes on there like this. We've got a little head, but it's not a dog head yet. Well, although it's got a little tongue sticking out. That's quite nice. Oh, you have a choice. Is that right? Oh, look, he's got, I don't know why he's got double-sided. You have a choice. You can either have the tongue sticking straight out. Where's that? Where's that better? Where's that? Huh? Hey, come on, look at this. I'm trying to get you to focus on this. Come on, focus. Oh, sure, you'll focus on my big ugly hands, but not on the Lego? Come on. Do I have I wonder if I've got a magnifying glass that would help with this. Anyways, so there you go. He's got two heads for some reason. He's a two-faced doggy. There we go. There we go. That's it. And he even comes with 2 of his own little dog bones. Look at that. There you go. See, this is going to be worth a fortune. You wait. We can start bidding this up right now. But something my father always said to me, he said, yeah, you're sure, stocks, bonds, all this kind of stuff. You never know what's going to happen. It's got a young pioneer bandana, does it? Oh, it does a bit, doesn't it? It's true. It does have a little bit like painted on there. Jane is shocked because she says they feel much lighter than the old ones. So that maybe Lego's cheaping out and making like sort of little lighter plastic things. But there you go. That's my latest investment. So that little guy, so I can't remember. I guess I should probably find out. I should remember how much I got. I think it was $4.99, I think, for each one of these little bags. Each one of these is like $4.99. So the idea is, the hope is that 1 or 2 of them will be worth more than this and make up for the value of the other ones. So so that's my investment so far. Let me see. Wait a sec. It's Frank the Pug from Men in Black. Is it? Is that what it is? I'll show you the other ones I got. Okay, so. Oh man, I'm gonna break everything. I'm breaking it all. Okay, I got this. I got a piece of this. This is like this Lego sticker stuff where you can actually like sort of put things on them. So I thought I would, there we go, look at this. There you go. So this is who I've got so far. I've got the Centaur. I've got the, I don't know if she's like the singing lady or the singing person. I've got the, I thought originally it was the homeless man, but it turns out it's actually the shipwrecked guy because that's a crab there. And then of course now I can add to my collection the little dog guy from Men in Black. Which I don't think is what it is, but but I'm okay with that. I'll go with that. So there you go. There's my. Oh my God, it's a bit like show and tell, isn't it? It's just shocking. No, I know, Lord Frieza. I totally get it. I get it. I get what you're saying. Oh, if I move that closer, there you go. You can have him there like this, and then I'll be in the background. So there you go. It's just kind of fun because I like the idea of explaining to the kids that the American dollar is just something we've all agreed has value, right? Bitcoin is something that we've all agreed has value. My concern with something like Bitcoin is if it disappears, it disappears. If the value of Lego figures disappears, I still have fun little Lego figures who I could consider my best friends. It'd be funny if you just stuck that to the ceiling and tell Jane to look up. I could stick it to the ceiling. I mean, it's got a sticky base on it. Actually, that could be kind of fun. You could stick it to the ceiling. I wonder if I could do that. Stick it to the ceiling and then, yeah. Imagine archaeologists trying to decipher the meaning of those models. It's true. It's true. I do like putting it on the ceiling, though.
They should be given the bearded figure a volleyball. Oh, that's true. That's true. What was his name? It'd be funny if you Tom Hanks. It is very Tom Hanks. What was his name? What was the ball's name? Spalding or something? Um, and then do what with them? What do you mean dramatic impulse? It's owning them is what is all. Wilson, that's it. There you go, Wilson. Good evening from Germany, Wilson. Der alte Trekkie, der alt Trekkie. I like it. Elizabeth Lee Wilson. Everyone's got it. Very good. Am I the only person who didn't know his name was Wilson? That was such a great movie, though. I watched that again recently, and it was just it's kind of amazing. That was a film that I didn't think was going to work. There's another one that was really fun. What was it called? Let me look it up. Let me look it up for you. One that I saw recently, which was like Castaway, but with monsters. So kind of cheesy. It gets cheesy at the end for sure, and I have a real problem with sea creatures that have hooves. That seems silly to me. But that said, God, what was it called? Precious. That was it. No, it wasn't Precious. It was, God, what was it called? Does anyone know? Ooh, I'm currently hacking into an iBot trying to make it an RC. Oh, well Brick Tech, that's great. Let me just have a look here. Castaway monster movie? Sweetheart. It's called Sweetheart. Fabulous acting. I mean, not across the board, but the lead is absolutely amazing. And I would say for the first like 3/4 of that movie, they had me in their gripped in their fists of fear. But then as always, you got to see the monster and things, and you have to explain things. It just gets a bit silly. But anyways, it's a fun watch, especially if you like Castaway. So that's the one, and it's is her name Kiersey Clemens? Kiersey Clemens, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But man, wouldn't it be great to get a job where your job is to be stranded on a beautiful desert island? Oh man, actually, I'd hate that when I'm saying that. As long as it has really good Wi-Fi. Sea creatures with hooves. That is highly illogical. That's what I said. I was like, come on. Of course they're going to have webbed feet. Even Doctor Who got that right. Although they did have those little hoof hands that would shine things at people. Now, someone was talking about the iRobot. So that, if you want to hack that, there's a little port. Well, at least on the older ones. I snapped off the outer part of this, and inside you'll see there's a little port there that you can actually take an old mouse. You can take an old mouse connector and snap off one of the pins, and you can actually you can pop it in there and program it. This baby right here could actually be run by one of my easy robots back there. There's actually some tutorials on how to do that on Easy Robot. If you want to check that out too, you can check that out. Although I'm sure you could probably control it with an Arduino as well, right? Is that what you're using? What are you playing with? Lord Zero. Thank you, Lord Zero. It is neat. Oh my God, David, do you like the movie? Oh, I loved Enemy Mine. Are you kidding? I freaking loved Enemy Mine. 6 days, 7 nights. What's that? That sounds good. Is it ironic that we forgot to talk about memory? Oh my God. Randy, you're gonna have to come back. We have to talk about memory for sure. You got a bit of a raspy voice from talking. Use raw honey. Oh, thank you very much. I will give that a go. I am really croaky. I don't know why. I think it may be an allergy thing. Listen to me. I'm like total McKay. I need my 1000 SPF sunblock and to stop complaining about my health. But yeah, I think it's got warmer recently, and I think the birds and the bugs and the trees and all this stuff that I love so much. Pave nature. I should leave soon. Want to spend time with my mom before they go on vacation. Vaccinated and out of town. Really? So they get vaccinated and they just bail on you right away like that. God, man, I gotta get myself some vaccinations. So Saturian Kazard says that they're a vocalist, and we use that a lot. Okay, honey. Look, I love honey, anyways. Frankly, it could be the apple allergy flaring up. This could be it. This could be the last time you see me. Have you seen Spree? No, I haven't. So all these things. Where's my book? Do I have a book to write? Ah, damn it! I don't have my notebook. If I don't write these things down, I forget. Are you going to be on the new Stargate show like Daniel Jackson? I don't know. I don't know. So was there news about this recently? See, we're always, keep in mind, we're the last people to know, right, of these things. All right. Oh, it's Anne Hesh and Harrison Ford, a rom-com. I never watch rom-coms. I can't do rom-coms. Oh, DIY in the Ghetto. I'm so sorry. I'm not a big fan of Debug. I gotta say, I really don't have a lot of good things to say about Debug. That was one of the most horrible experiences of my entire career, was making that movie, because there were so many other people involved in it that were not making the film for the same reasons as we were. Anyways, so but yeah, look, I welcome your thoughts on it. Thank you for watching it, but yeah, Jane always gets mad at me because she says it's not a bad movie, but I'm like, yeah, but it is to me because it's not the movie I wanted to make. Anyways, I have to go. What am I doing? I've been talking for 75 minutes. I've got a child who needs me to play League of Legends with him, or at least go and play some Magic the Gathering. I've been playing Magic the Gathering Arena, and I'm kind of loving it. I'm using this mutate deck, and that has been really neat, actually. I love the mechanic of the mutating on Magic the Gathering. So I'll probably be online doing that. At some point we should I should see who else is playing Magic the Gathering, and maybe we can have some games together. But right now I'm honing my skills. That's what I'm doing. Right now I'm trying to get better at it so that I don't embarrass myself too much if I actually were to stream. You know what? What am I saying? I'm going to embarrass myself streaming it anyways. So I'm just joking. I plan on watching the Snyder Cut tomorrow. Oh my God, really? It wasn't long enough already? You're a sci-fi legend, but I'm really looking forward to seeing you in Clarice. Oh, Johnny, I'm not playing a nice person. I am not playing a nice person. I got through the tutorial for MTG Arena, but not sure what I'm doing. Yeah, it's like, it's one of those things you just have to play, Jim. We'll have to play. We'll play together. In fact, that could be fun because you could stream it on yours and I could stream it on mine, and then you could see you could both see what's going on, and people could shout instructions at us the whole time. Ark Survival Evolved. I know Ark Survival Evolved. I played a lot of it with my son for a while, but I try to stay off these games because of first off, the first person stuff tends to gets me queasy. I've really been enjoying League of Legends because it's a game I can sort of play without getting woozy playing, woozy or pukey. So, but it's Friday night. So Friday night is, we'll order some food, we'll hang out, we may watch a movie, we may not. I'm trying to talk Baz into watching Monster Hunter, but I don't know if you can rent it yet or not. I think it'll be awful. It looks awful, but I just feel like it might be kind of a fun, silly, trashy monster movie to see. Anyways, Joe Malazzi spelled wrong, said the new Stargate series is about 5 chevrons locked. What? He spelt it wrong? Malazzi spelt wrong. Said the new Stargate series is about 5 chevrons locked. Well, that's great. That's good. I hope there will be something for me to do on it because it'd be wonderful to come back to it. It's just it's one of those things that I've heard so many times have I heard that there was going to be more Stargate, and so many times have I had my heart broken and stomped on. So I'm trying not to get excited about it. I will get excited when I hear that it's started filming. I will look forward to that very much. But and look, it would be great if I could come back on it too. That'd be fantastic. But just, it better not start too soon because I'm like booked for a while right now. So I don't want it. It can't come back if it comes back this summer, I don't even know if I'll be able to sneak away for it or not. When they call, I'll be there when they call. I'll be ready when they call. Exactly. It's Red Nose Day in the UK at the BBC tonight. Woohoo! That's always great, isn't it? David Sams, I love Red Nose Day. They always do some fun stuff. All right, everybody. I'm out of here. I will say be safe, be kind, be brilliant. Until we geek again, with or without Lego, with or without exercise. I did do exercise. Did I mention that? I actually did the exercise today. This isn't just a burn and learn without the burn part. I actually did yoga with Jane, and it was horrible. So there you go. Just so you know, I was miserable as well. Oh my God, I got distracted again. I promised myself that I would start doing the little recaps and not get distracted, but I've done it again. So be safe, be kind, be brilliant. And until we geek again, I will say a cheerio and huzzah! Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate the whatever they're called, the power chat things. That's really thank you. And the Tech Bandits, thank you. But mainly I thank you because I get to spend the money for the Tech Bandits. That's really fun. Okay, bye.